All right. Hey, everyone. Mark here. Mark Pre-Markets. How you all doing? Hope you're enjoying your day so far. Just had a lot, busy day today, so it's been tough for me to share stuff in the chat room, although I got a trade out. Anyway, I want to welcome you all to GreenBridge Investing Market Analysis. This is a live stream. So if you are new to the channel, please make sure you register by clicking the register button. Also, if you like the video as I'm conducting the analysis and answering your questions, please press the like button. Also, if you have a symbol or a market that you'd like to see, please share it in the chat now. So once I get through my portion, I'll be able to take a look at your chart that you want to see. Okay, again, I'm going to try to spend as little time as possible on my stuff because I want to spend more time on your stuff. All right, so with that said, let's get started. This is for educational purposes only. For investment advice, please consult a licensed investment advisor. Okay, now, before we get into Bitcoin, a nice move going on there, let me just go over the economic calendar really quick, okay? Oh yeah, and by the way, I usually take this portion right here to talk about GreenBridge and all that kind of stuff, but to make this simpler, I put all that information in the description portion of this video. So if you just click on the show more thing on the YouTube page, you'll get all the information, our links, and what we have available and what we do. Okay, so that's that part. Now, so let's talk about the economic calendar. There's not much going on this week. Again, this is important to be aware of, especially if you're involved in forex pairs. So let's just go over each item very quickly. So we have what on the 9th? That's China Consumer Price Index. Again, these aren't big numbers. Germany Harmonized Index of Consumer Prices, not a big deal. US, we have CPI, okay, what is that, on Wednesday? Then also we have the Bank of England, Governor Bailey's speech, GDP for the British pound, and then, what is this, on the 12th it looks like, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. So, and then there's this Japanese number on the 14th, GDP. So these aren't, there are no major market moving events on this calendar. Okay, so a major market moving event would be something like an FOMC meeting or NFP, something along those lines, and they can be potential catalysts. Although we have not seen, for a longest time, we have not seen any major moves, even from those scheduled events that do have that potential. But anyway, it's good to just know what's going on. All right, so now let's take a look here at, let's start with Bitcoin. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about the Bitcoin 42K breakout. I've been talking about this for a while. If you looked at my TradingView article that I wrote on Saturday, I talked about this. Okay, so people are surprised about this now. Well, our members aren't surprised because we've been talking about this for a while, but others seem to be surprised. And I also saw in our chat room that someone shared something that Tesla announced that they're buying, whatever, some 1.8 billion worth of Bitcoin. I don't know, some kind of number like that. That's interesting. Now, let me just point something out real quick before I get into the technical portion. Okay, so if Tesla made that announcement today or yesterday or whatever, you have to understand something. They didn't buy it now. So they probably bought this much earlier, and they can talk the market up all they want. Of course they announce it now. And people trust Elon Musk. He's not a bad guy, but he knows how markets work. I believe he does. I don't know if many of you remember, but about 2 years ago, he caught the attention of the SEC when he mentioned he had a buyer for Tesla, but he didn't really have a buyer for Tesla, but the stock went up because he just made that announcement. That's manipulation, okay? It never went anywhere, but the point is he knows he can do it, and there's no oversight in this space. So you can talk it up all you want, and no one can do anything about it, okay? So if he wants to suck the herd in, he knows what he's doing, and he can unload on them. That's how markets work, and I'm sure he knows that. So the point is, again, I'm not here to badmouth him or anything. I'm just saying, when news like that comes out, you need to know better, okay? We've been in this thing since 33,650, right? We took it over here, our swing trade. Then Andrew sent out another swing trade, I believe it was Saturday, on the inside bar situation right here, just before this move that occurred, okay? So that's how you want to play these things, when the risk and reward is clearly defined, okay? So right now, we have the 42K breakout, which is a good sign. Nothing wrong with that, but there's a lot of risk in this area. And this is where the breakout traders, they don't realize. Now, if this thing closes the way it looks right now, if we get this close, that would be a confirmed breakout because it would be a strong close above that 42K previous high, okay? Which confirms the wave 5 structure that we've been talking about for the longest time, okay? Wave 5, Elliott wave, and that's wave 5 of 3. So this is wave 3 of 3 right here. Right, I've been talking about this. All of you know because I repeat myself all the time in these streams. That's wave 4, the consolidation. We bought the bottom, right? We bought near the bottom of wave 4, the double bottom there, and we've been calling it the whole time. And then wave 5. Okay, as you can see this line that I have on my chart here. I've had this line drawn in there since we entered. Okay, I didn't add that after the fact. So that was my expectation of wave 5. So now wave 5 is confirmed now, all right, because it made the higher high. So the question is, how much further can this go? Wave 5s are very typical, they're very similar, I should say, to wave 3s, okay? And it can extend. So that's why our targets are distributed much higher. We've exited 1/3, as many of you know, we're out 1/3. And we're only interested in distributing risk in these levels, not buying more. People that buy right now, for short-term trades, swing trades or day trades, they're taking a lot of risk here because if this fakes out, right, which it could possibly fake out. If it fakes out, you're looking at pulling all the way back to something like this, and that's a lot of risk. And it's very hard to justify that risk at these prices. So you have to hope that you could make 6,000 points or something like that to justify risking 6,000 points. That's why most people don't make money, okay? Because they're just only interested in it. It's going to go higher, I need to be in it. But you don't know how much higher it's going to go. And there's a decent probability that it fails. What we bought in, that probability of failure was much lower. We were buying near the bottom, okay? The bottom of the move, not the top. So anyway, just wanted to point a couple of things like that out. Bitcoin is it's strong, there's no question. And if you're in it from those lower prices, there's nothing to do here but let the market work. Let the market do its job. All right, now I saw a couple of questions here I want to answer real quick. I saw Ricky, Bitcoin question. Since I'm on it, I'll address it real quick. If we close above 42K tonight, but then start to retrace, could that signal a completion of wave 5? No, that's not the completion. So we can start counting waves within the wave 5, right? That's how Elliott wave works. It's waves within waves or nested structures, right? So we have wave 1, which took us out of our first portion, right? The long tail. That's wave 1. A little pullback over here. Wave 2. Okay, they're mini waves. Okay. Then we have this nice broad move. Wave 3. Very typical of a wave 3. Okay. Now, after wave 3 completes, we should get a mini wave 4. Mini wave 4 can basically go to here, around there. Usually it stays above the high of wave 1, which, wave 1 is 38K. We'll call it mini wave 1. So somewhere, 40K, 39K, something like that. That's a good place for it to hold. And then we get one more leg higher, right? Which should take us into the mid 45s or perhaps even higher. That would be 5 of 5. Now, again, that can extend. It can go to 50K. There's no way to know where it will stop. The thing is, when it stops, when this wave 5 is complete, now we're looking at a broad wave 4 after that, which I'm not going to get into here. But the point is, to answer your question, no, wave 5 still has a couple of legs left in it to go. Now, if this fails right now and takes out that 38K support or whatever, then it's still in a consolidation. Then it's probably not a wave 5. That's what Elliott wave will tell us at that point. Okay, so people who don't understand how to use it, people want like precision from it. It's not, there's no precision. So it's as new information becomes available, you have to adjust the wave counts. And that'll give you a realistic expectation as to what is next. That's how we got into this swing trade. That's why we're still holding it. I heard a lot of people, someone mentioned in the chat earlier too, that a lot of people were calling for a corrective move here. A lot of your friends on some of these public forums, I'm not going to mention any names, and they were calling for corrective moves, and we were not. We were still looking for longs. So, because the chart says look for longs. People that get caught up on small time frames, they don't see that. Anyway, all right, so that's that question. Ricky has a question about link. All right, so I'll get to that when I go through the questions, no problem. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Now, real quick, Let me move on here to the stock market. Now, if there's any, again, any charts you'd like to see or anything, please let me know in the chat so I can get to that. I'm going to just cover the broad Nasdaq. And hold on, I wanted to look at WWR too. Look at that. Nice swing trade there. Okay, wow. That's, let's see, reach our second target yet? 1285, today's high. No, not yet. That's stupid stock. Okay, anyway, almost there though. That was a swing trade I sent out a couple of weeks ago. All right, so NASDAQ, NASDAQ 100. So this area, this blue box that you see, and I think I see a question that's related to this as well from Kex. I have a macro in it. I am very cautious about the current hypervaluations in stocks. So this may and help you address that question. So here's the thing. This blue box up here, that's the reversal zone. So there's a high probability that this thing can fail or fake out in this zone. Now, right now, it's very slow to grind, right? There's no correction here. We only have bullish candles. There's nothing bearish going on here, right? All we have is a vulnerable location. And I've talked about these vulnerable locations before. Just because it's vulnerable doesn't mean it will turn, okay? Now, we've positioned ourselves for a turn. We've been taking pain in those positions. Those type of counter trend trades, they're tough trades. But when they work, they work out well. It's just you have to go through this sometimes. So we have to see how this goes. Right now, there's no sell signal. But if a sell signal appears, that's going to be confirmation, right? And then we should get that broader pullback. This can turn into a head and shoulders, right? And this could be the head. It's very tough to hold on to, like I said. Now, that's on the short side. On the long side, this is still an okay time to buy stocks, right? There's still strength, but you need to be cautious of the location because especially highly correlated stocks, all right? Market stocks, like, stocks that lead the Nasdaq, okay? Amazon, the FANG stocks, stocks like Square, stocks like Qualcomm, stocks like Microsoft and Intel, they're all going to pull back hard when this thing pulls back hard because they're all basically the heavyweights in this index, right? But then there are stocks that are not so correlated. Stocks like Sundance Energy, like I sent out earlier. Stocks like, these EV stocks. A lot of them are not correlated. Cannabis stocks are not correlated. Now, if there's a really heavy correction, then yeah, all stocks will feel it. Generally, all stocks feel it. But if there's like just an average correction, we pull back to something like this, I don't know, 12, 13 even, or 13 100 or 12 whatever, yeah, the market stocks will feel it more than the non-correlated stocks. So there's still opportunities to buy. You don't have to be completely afraid, okay? But you do have to manage your risk carefully. Like I wouldn't be going nuts investing here. This would be a bad location to invest and buy. I think Intel is a good company. I'm going to buy it here. You're buying the top of the market. You could probably get better prices if you just wait, okay? Or it's best if you're going to do something like that. Again, you go tiny size because of the location. So I just wanted to point that out. Another thing I want to point out before I get into your questions, because I want to spend more time on your questions. Gold. Look at gold. Now, here's why this is so important. And I've been mentioning this a lot. We got stopped out of our swing trade on gold. Gold has been very difficult, okay? Now, we took out this high here, 1815, and now look, we're back at 1834. Oh, gold is good again, right? Why did gold sell off there? How many times did I tell people, buy gold, right? My previous headline was, be bold, buy gold, because I'm such a good rhymer. Now, anyway, the point is, this whole structure, right, from this peak over here, this whole structure is a gigantic wave 4. And Bitcoin is going to go through the same type of thing, okay? All markets go through these cycles. So that's why I point out, when wave 5 of this 3 completes, right, and we'll get some kind of confirmation, like a gigantic sell-off, then it's likely to go into this type of structure. These structures separate people who know what they're doing from people who don't. Okay, there are a lot of fake outs, there are a lot of false signals, there's a lot of problems in this type of situation. It's very easy to get stopped out, especially for people who don't know how to size properly and all that stuff, and they're using leverage. Anyway, so just look at this structure and remember what I said about Bitcoin. Okay, because as great as it looks right now, Once the broad wave 4 takes hold, it'll be something like this, and very difficult, okay? Now, as far as gold goes, this is buy signal right here, and it's 1816 would have been a good buy price, but you get too much going on here, didn't call it. All right, so now what? Well, look, don't chase, no reason to chase gold. But what have I been telling you the week before and the week before that? What have I been saying? Buy gold miners, buy gold miners, buy gold miners, right? Take your small bites, take your small bites. NEM. Look at NEM, Newmont Mining. In fact, we sent out a swing trade, I think it was on Friday, on that pin bar. Look at Newmont Mining. How about the other one? Wheaton Precious Metals. Will Wheaton Precious Metals. No, it's not Will Wheaton's Precious Metals, but it's Wheaton Precious Metals. Look, this stupid stock was at 39 and a quarter just a couple of days ago, and it's now at 41.16. So again, like I said, small bites. You could have gotten this thing in the low, what 38s just a week ago or whatever. Small bites, right? Now gold is on its way up. So again, is this a bad place to take a small bite? No. Small bite is not the same as a swing trade. It's an investment, okay? These are the type of stocks that you invest in, especially when they're following something that is likely to go a lot higher. Now, when gold goes to 1950 or 2000, that's when everyone's going to get excited about gold, because gold will look safe and like a sure thing. But the reality is right now, when it was hated, okay, that's when your risk is the most attractive. The reward risk makes the most sense when it's hated, not when it's loved. So there we go. Anyway, so maybe now here's the thing with gold. As far as swing trades go, if I see an inside bar or something, I'll call gold again. Get back into that swing trade, okay? We took a couple of stop outs. Hey, it happens. Stops are actually very good. They save you a lot of money. All right, what if you had bought it up here and didn't use a stop, right? What if you had bought 1953 and you didn't use a stop and you got too big, right? You get margined out at 17 whatever and you lose a ton of money. So we'll see about that. But anyway, keep this on your radar for another swing trade for those of you that are into the CFDs. Same with the euro, right? Same situation. Look at the euro. That's a nice buy signal right there. I mean, euro's been a real pain to deal with, but look at the support area. Nice broad higher low situation. The euro is not a short here. Anyway, just wanted to mention that. I haven't sent out anything on the euro yet, but that's the next one on my radar. Okay, anyway, so I wanted to mention those things. Let's see how I'm doing with the questions. That's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Okay, so I want to answer your questions now. Ricky, so Ricky was asking about Link, USD, and he's saying about the extensions and looking at the, well, I'm not going to have time to run through all that right now, but here's what I can tell you. As far as the next extension, he's saying get around $36. Here's what I would do. Like, before getting that excited, I would just look at the whole number, $30. Use that as your reference point, $30, okay? That's the next whole number, and that would be a good place to look for a reaction, okay? You got these little reactions here, right, at these inflection points. Like, that's a reaction, right? And then you have this little reaction here, and now you have a higher low that's developing. So this link looks like it wants to go higher, right? So theoretically, it should make the higher high if this trend stays intact. I'd be looking for that $30 level, okay? And if it gives you a problem there, that would be a good place to maybe distribute some more of your risk. I know you're in from a great price, but that would be a good place. Again, only if it gives you a problem. If it doesn't give you a problem, you just let it ride, okay? And I'll take a look at I'll do some more work on this chart, and I'll figure out where the next points are. But work with that number for now. Okay, so thanks for bringing that up. All right, so I think I answered, Keck's question here. Actually, as far as the coins, okay, Bitcoin and the whole space. So here's the thing, here's the relationship with that we've observed before. And that is when the entire market sells off, okay, stock market, if it's a major sell-off, like when we saw the March low, a year ago that no one expected, and the market just basically gave back a huge amount of money very quickly, the coins suffered, right? Bitcoin, that's when Bitcoin went to 3,000. And no one could understand, what that was all about. And people are saying, well, people getting margined out of their stocks, taking losses in their stocks, they're going to have to exit their Bitcoin positions to cover the losses. So there's the possibility of that relationship if there's a major, I mean, heavy duty correction in the stock market. It could probably have that type of effect on Bitcoin because, you know, again, it makes sense, but that's using logic, okay? And like I always say, logic is not your friend in this game. So that's why I wouldn't be married to any type of opinion with something like that. It's like we have to see how it goes because these correlations, they're good until they're not good, right? They change randomly. So you just have to, you know, see how it goes. I wouldn't bet on that. Okay, let's just put it that way. So hope that answers your question. Hey, Andrew, Gabriel, all right, Reggie, good to see you. Hey, Isaac. Okay, cool. NNDM. Andrew wants to see NNDM. Let's take a look. So Nano. Okay, cool. Trend. All right, so let's start, you know, one step at a time here. We have a bullish trend. That's nice. How much is this stock? Oh, it's a nice, it's cheap stock. This is definitely in the day trader radar type of stock because it's cheap. A lot of day traders can get into this, and that's who you're dealing with. That's who you can get in and out of. You know, that's who you're going to capitalize on when they go nuts. Now, I see some higher lows here. Let me see this. You have your support right there, $13, right? Now, today, it's going for this move here. Now, I wouldn't buy this now because the move is underway. Let me see, what's this high? 1536 and it's at 1604. Yeah, I mean, it's because here's the thing. You're taking a lot of risk if it fails in this area, and it can pull back to that $13 area, give you the lower high, and, you know, do that kind of thing. So I would, if I was going to get involved in something like this, I'd prefer to see that type of pullback and get that double bottom rather than buy it here and take the additional risk. Now, there is a higher low. Theoretically, it should go for the higher high, right? The structure favors a higher high. But here's the question that is it's tough to answer, especially when you have to face the problem. What if it goes for the higher high? Let's say you buy it right now at 1604 and it goes to this high of 17 whatever, right? And you're like, okay, cool, it's working. And then the next candle is this big red candle. It fails. And you're like, oh, well, it's still strong, I think. I mean, it made it to that high, and I hope, and now you're going to hope mode, right? And now you're not sure. You're a weak hand at this point, and then you're not sure, and then it goes lower, and then you're not sure, and then you're banging out the worst price. So too many emotions it's very easy to get caught up in too many emotions in this area, rather than buying the pullback, right, at a double bottom and be much more confident. Be like, well, if it holds this bottom, there's a good chance that it's going to at least test the middle, and probability is much more favorable. Okay, so that's why I have such a hard time with these type of breakouts. So sometimes, look, they break out and they go, right? And that happens. But a lot of times, you know, you have to consider that psychological situation and how much risk you're willing to take. Okay, and again, I'm talking about that from the swing trade perspective. All right, now, so good question. Reggie, IOTA. Oh, okay. IOTA, USDT. I remember, ooh, yeah, this thing's getting all crazy now, right? 65 cents, you know, thanks to Bitcoin. I remember when this thing was garbage for the longest time. So here's the thing. When they do this, all right, you can't chase these now, right? If you were going to get involved, you would have had to have gotten involved much earlier. We don't really call these altcoins much because most of the time they're junk and they're not worth swing trading, okay? Now, let's talk about some levels here and talk about what you can do going forward. So you have, what is that, 48, it's 48 level here, 48 cents, right around here. Okay, that's your next support. After that, if it takes that out, you're looking at this level, 37 cents, right? So those are your levels. Now, the trend is clearly bullish now. So you can't chase it. What you have to do is wait for that pullback. And again, with these, I'm not a big fan of swing trading them, like I said. Now, when they start to move, right? Now, this thing's starting to move now. When they start moving, like DOT, for example, or Link, or some of those ones that have really made some significant progress, then they become worthwhile. All right, and this one's starting to prove itself. I like the structure, okay? So that's a good start. It's much better than this garbage back here where it's consolidating for a long time. Now, again, you don't chase, you wait for the pullback. The question you have to ask is, do you want to take it for a swing trade? You have to define your risk, and you know, so you're going to buy it at like 48 cents if it provides the structure and the confirmation, and you're probably going to be risking something like you know, 42, it's going to be, your support probably will be around 42 or lower. Okay, so you have to figure that part out. The other thing is you could just wait for that pullback and then start taking small bites and thinking of it from more of an investment perspective. And honestly, that's a much easier way to go about these, because you have to understand something. When Bitcoin goes into that wave 4, many of these will probably give it all back. I mean, unless they can really prove themselves, a lot of this is froth. A lot of these projects, they talk a lot of big talk, and it sounds amazing. And you can go to a YouTube and you can watch a video that has 330,000 views because you're going to get rich with IOTA and VET and all these other ones. And meanwhile, when Bitcoin pulls back, right, just like the dot-coms, these things are just going to give it all back. So that's why you have to keep that in mind. Some of them will prove themselves, but until this froth is over, we're not going to know. So you can't touch this thing right now. Wait for those supports, okay? And like I said, if you want to play the inventory game, you take some small bites. You have your target allocation. You say, okay, I want to invest $1,000 in IOTA, and then you start buying on the pullback, okay? And you can take a tiny bite right here if you want, but why? You're going to get better prices. I mean, I don't like buying highs. Anyway, that's how I would do IOTA. All right, let me see what else we got here. Thanks for asking that question. Kamal. Hey, Kamal and Sean, nice to see you. Kamal, hard USDT. Let's take a look. HARD USDT. So this is one of those new lottery tickets. Okay, so you have support right there. So it's starting to go, right? People are starting to learn about it, whatever. What is it on Binance? Okay. So again, just like IOTA, this is not a great place to buy. All right. Now it looks great. Look, psychologically, it looks great. And you say, oh, why not? It's strong, right? Can it just keep going like this? Can it just keep going higher? Markets don't. It's not normal for a market to just go in a straight line. It's just not. That's not natural. Sometimes it happens, but when it corrects, you see. I'm sure you've seen some of those type of corrections, right? Here, let me just pull up a great example. Remember this one? Okay. Remember this big party, right? Went vertical and gave it all back. So that's just a very extreme example, but that's what you have to be careful of with these. That's why I don't like to buy these highs. Again, something that this, how much is this thing? $1, okay, like $1.50. So in these cheaper coins, like I said, you want to play this game, play the investment game. If you believe in the project and what it is, whatever they're telling everyone they're going to do, and you want to give it a chance, take a small bite, have your target allocation, take a small bite, but be prepared to average into it. And if the market, if the entire market gets, feels the pain, like Ethereum and Bitcoin start giving it back and this and that, these things are going to give it back faster. You just have to keep that in mind, okay? They're like lottery tickets. So I can't emphasize that enough. Some of them are going to go, but a chart is not going to tell us which ones are going to be the big winners and which ones are not, when they're all pretty much the same idea, okay? So when this thing really starts to mature, then we can look at it from a swing trade basis. But I wouldn't look at it from a swing trade basis yet. All right, so thanks for bringing that one up. And your support, by the way, is $1, right? That level is $1. So that's the support I'd be looking for. Okay, Isaac, if you have time, can you take a look at AVAX? Okay, AVAX USD. Let's see. Oh, look at that. So, wow, how much money is this one? $32, okay. Vertical, herd mentality, okay. Nice Elliott wave structure. So you have wave 1, you have wave 2, very clear, okay. It's very clear. And then this is wave 3, all right, beautiful. Now, so we don't know where wave 3 will complete, but at some point it will. And once it completes, then you're going to get wave 4, which will be somewhere in there. If it like just... For example, if this completes now, then you're looking at that region as wave 4, which is basically $20 to $32, okay, something like that. But typically it'll gyrate around in there before wave 5. Now it's possible that you get a very tight wave 4, and it gyrates in there and then breaks out. So I would look for that formation. I would not buy this here, but very nice. Definitely a great one for the radar. I'm going to have to put this one on the radar. And also the price is $31. That makes it worthwhile for swing trading. Now, why? Why does something at $31 make it much more worthwhile compared to something that's 31 cents? And it's because $31 is it's a lot more expensive. There's probably, I don't know what the float is on this thing, but there's probably, I'm guessing that there's a lot less coins available compared to something that's 31 cents. That's why those things are like 31 cents, because they have a billion coins available, and the market can't get through them all, right? That's usually why. And that's why Bitcoin's at, 42,000 or 43,000, because it's got a very low float. Now, so I don't know what the deal is with this one, but it's the price. I like the price, the general price. It's like trading a $20 stock. It's the same idea. Okay, so definitely a good one for the radar. Thank you for bringing this one up, because I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'd be looking for those supports. Right now, just based on this chart, your support is at $13, which is, that's quite a ways from where we are right now. This thing's at $32 and $13. Doesn't mean it's going to go that low. It'll probably find something, support in the middle, probably somewhere around $20 would probably be an extreme support, but we don't have any structure right now, so I can't, I can't say that number because there's nothing that shows that, right? But that's what I'd be looking for to see if it can prove that idea. All right, so thanks for bringing that one up, AVAX. So that's one of the great things about these streams is that people bring up some of these things that others may not be looking at, and like, oh, cool, that's a good one for the radar. And this is how you pick up opportunities. We've had so many people in here pick up some great opportunities off these streams. Okay, so thanks for bringing that one up, Isaac. Okay, Pepe, can you look at ASX PAL? Okay, so that's the, let's see, PAL on the Australian Stock Exchange. Okay, Australian. Let's take a look. Let's take a look, mate. That's what they say, right? My Australian accent. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, so first thing I'm looking for is trend. And what I see, this was a decent trend, but then it broke it. So it took out this support here. Shouldn't have done that, okay? That's definitely not a sign of strength. Then you have a lower high that developed here, and it made the lower low. So that structure is generally bearish, okay? Or you can call it sort of neutral, bearish to neutral. The thing is, it hasn't taken out this low yet. So I would call this, if you're interested in the long, because what you do have is a beautiful pin bar right there. What I would call this is a high risk long, okay? I mean, it wouldn't go short here, that's for sure. Definitely not a short. But you have that nice pin bar. Now, the pin bar didn't touch that previous low support of, what's that, 47 cents. It didn't go that low. It's trying to find support sooner. If you take out the high of the pin bar, 57 cents, you may have some room because your next resistance now is, what, 68 cents. Well, I guess we're in Australian dollars, right? This thing's in Australian dollars, yeah. So that's what you're looking at there. It's nice risk reward, nice potential, but it's counter trend, which means you have to compensate for that additional risk. I would definitely consider that for an aggressive swing trade, okay? Playing that bounce. You're basically looking for the bounce and you're near a support. At least you're not buying a resistance, okay? And your first target is within reason around that 57 cent area or whatever. What is that? Again, I'm sorry, 68 cent area. Can it go higher than that? It's possible, but that would be the first place I'd be looking to reduce risk. Okay, so thank you for bringing that one up. Nice stock. Nice. That's a nice example of a aggressive counter trend trade. Okay, Australian license. They're Poppy processor. Great. Speaking of Poppy, let's take a look at CGC. Oh my God, let me see. Where's this thing at right now? $44. Okay. Yeah, this stock gave me a lot of problems, but I'm looking to get out of it now. Okay. What a pain this one was. So let's see what else we got here. Ricky, second target on BTC. Oh, nice. Yeah, that was wow, that's pretty impressive. Let me take a look at that real quick. Second target, 44. What you okay? Yeah, this what's the high there? 44,899. Yeah, nice. As you can see, we're getting into that 46 area. That's the next inflection point, by the way, on Bitcoin. 46. What is that? 843. Right. That's what those lines are on my charts. Those are inflection points. So, and you can see we usually get reactions around them. So I'll be looking for that next. But nice move. Nice. All right. Let me see what else we got here. Kex, any thoughts on Dash? Okay, let's take a look. So Dash USD. All right, well, so two things. For one, right, I'm looking for a trend, and recently, although that's a higher low right there, this thing is not impressive. I mean, look, we can argue that you have a higher low over here, right, and then it developed another higher low consolidation over here, and we can argue that it's in a bullish trend, right? Sure, okay, in the short term, we can argue that. But the thing is, Bitcoin is pushing all-time highs. I don't like when coins can't push, or it's not even close, okay? It's struggling over here. It's a lower high, it's a potential lower high, so it's acting relatively weak. That's what I don't like about it. Like Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Litecoin, some of these other coins like AXAV or whatever we just pulled up, that thing's on its highs. Why isn't this thing on its highs? Why isn't anyone buying this? So this is relatively weak. If Bitcoin pulls back, this thing will probably test the lower part of the range, right? That's what you have to think of, the relative strength or weakness. So there are better coins out there relative to what I'm looking at here. And you're at this potential resistance area. It's trying to break out, but I wouldn't mess with this. There's no reason. You know, you have gamblers jumping into this thing or whatever, and if you want to get involved, wait for better prices on something like this. When the chart looks, you know, when the leader is doing its job and this thing's struggling, wait for better prices. Okay, even for a swing trade, even for an investment. Why take it? Why take it in an area where it's likely to sell? Buy a lower price. So $87, you know, in that area, I guess the low 90s would be a much more attractive place for something like Dash. Okay, now you also asked about Zcash. Let's take a look. USDT. No. Let me see. Let me get the right. Oh, okay. Let me get the right symbol. That might help. Okay. So let's take a look here. All right. Now, so the general trend. Okay. Again, we can argue that it's bullish. All right. I do see a series of higher lows and higher highs. I see a support there. I see an old resistance, new support there. What price is that? $80, 80 and a quarter, right? And it worked off of that. Okay, that's fine. Nice initial push. I like this push here, right? So we're still, that's basically the structure that's in play. That's nice. So now let's look at the current situation, right? So the context, everything that I just went over here is basically the context, right? So it's bullish. And then it's been consolidating. You get this little mini higher low, and it's trying to break higher. All right, well, so again, the structure is good, but since these things don't trade on their own, I would be careful with this, because if it was relatively strong, it should be here right now, not here. Now, sometimes these things lag, and maybe it needs to get going. So as a swing trade, I mean, since the price generally makes sense, I mean, this thing has proven it can move, you know, you have to look at the reward risk, and if you're willing to take that chance, because it is, relative strength speaking, relative, it's not performing that well relative to Bitcoin. So the low here is what, 88.75, and the closing price is 96. So you're looking at risking about $8 or $9, right? Or maybe if you want to take that breakout, maybe like a $10 risk, and you have to hope that it goes at least to test the high, which is 118. I mean, it can do it, right? That would be a reasonable place at least for it to test. So risking 10 to try to make 10 1-to-1 reward risk, it's within reason, but the relative strength factor may work against you, right? That's what I don't like about this. I'd rather buy something like AVAX on a pullback than this. Like the place to buy this was the pullback double bottom situation back here. That's when your reward risk was the best. Okay, even for something that was like acting, you know, maybe not as great. So that's what you have to consider for something like that, okay? Like I said, I'd rather find a better performing market. So thank you for bringing that one up. Let me see what else we got here. Mario, hey Mario. I'm so behind on this chat. Can you talk about the Broadway 4? How long usually and how low can it go? That's a good question. So, oh, and real quick, before I answer that, I know Ramana in our chat had a question about Cardano. So let me just throw this in there while we're talking about altcoins. Cardano, I know he's long from a good price, and my inflection point was at 57 cents. I was looking at this before, and I found, I don't have it on this chart, but I found another inflection point. It was like around 75 cents, right? It was around 75 cents. That's the next point on that thing. So and he mentioned that if it pulls back to 57 cents, he was thinking about just exiting the whole thing. Well, here's the thing. Right now, there's no sell signal, okay, in Cardano. There's no sell signal. Would I buy this thing right now? Definitely not. It's vertical, okay? So when you're in something like this and it looks like this, you let the market work, right? Let the market do its job. It'll probably pull back when Bitcoin pulls back. So as it goes higher, if it gets to that 75-cent inflection point, hey, good place to reduce some more risk, right? Now, I know he's taking some profits, but hey, dump some, right? Take a little more off while people are willing to take it off your hands. And if it pulls back to 57 cents, that's probably going to act as a support, most likely. So why unload the whole thing there when you could probably be a good place to add some? So that's what I'd be considering on something like that while you're holding a core position, since you're in from such a great price. Okay, so that's what I'd look for. Of course, it helps to wait for some confirmation in such an area. You can't just jump in just because there's a line on the chart. Okay, so just something to keep in mind, but definitely strong. Right now, compared to Dash and Zcash, look at the difference. This thing is blowing through highs, right? It's vertical. That's what your coin should be doing when Bitcoin is pushing all-time highs, not messing around some consolidation resistance. This here is relatively strong, right? Or outperforming. This is what it should be doing. So just a couple of things. That's a good example, for contrast. All right, so let me see how I'm doing with time. Okay, I'm doing pretty good with time because I'm moving quickly here. All right, so good question. So I wanted to answer Mario's question here. Could you talk about that broad wave 4 and how usually long? So when I bring that up, I'm going to bring up gold because gold is a great visual example, right? So when you have the Elliott wave, impulse wave, okay, there are 5 waves, 5 impulse waves in a trend, and then you have 3 corrective waves. So you have 5 and 3. Now, so when you have wave 1, 3, and 5 are typically trend waves within the impulse. Waves 2 and 4 are typically corrective waves, and they're usually made up of 3 legs. That's your standard, average makeup. It could be longer than that. Now, the thing is, these structures have magnitudes. This is the part that people don't understand. So you can have a mini one within a bigger one. Okay, you could think of like a tree. You have a little twig with a leaf on it. Well, that's sort of a mini version of the whole tree, right? The tree with the trunk and all the leaves and the twigs, and so it's like the nested thing. So these work the same way. Now, as far as when, we don't know. Thing is, we need to be able to count. One way to a better way or a good way to get an idea of when that broad wave 4 will begin is when you can count 5 waves. Okay, so let's take a look at that Bitcoin, and can we count 5 waves in this magnitude? Right now, in this magnitude, I can only count 3. I can count 1 here, right? And again, here's the other thing. It's very subjective. That's why a lot of people dismiss Elliott wave, because it's very subjective, and you need to understand how to adjust. So, like my wave 1, someone else may say, no, that's not a wave 1, but this is my wave 1 of 5 right there. Okay, this is wave 2 of 5 over here. This is wave 3 of 5 right here, and wave 3 is still in progress. There's nothing here about a wave 4. So this thing, as long as this thing wants to close higher and keep pushing highs or whatever, we're still in wave 3 of the 5. We'll get the wave 4 in this magnitude. It can be a small little couple of red candles, something like wave 2, right? See this little wave 2 situation? So we can get a little mini pullback, right? That would be the mini wave 4. And then one more leg higher, which that will be the 5th leg. And that leg can have 5 little mini waves in it. So once you count those, right, the 5th leg, and you count 5 little mini waves, that is most likely when wave 4 will begin. Now, at that point, Bitcoin may be at 50K at that point, right? That doesn't mean it's just only going to go up like another 1,000 points and, I can count the 5 waves. And also, don't go like onto a 5-minute chart and say, oh, I can count 5 waves in the 5-minute chart. It's not the same magnitude. It's got to be done on the right magnitude, or the one that we're talking about, which is this time frame, the daily time frame. So again, to answer that question, you have to be able to count 5 waves. And until that point, wave 4 is a low probability, the broad wave 4. So that's the first part of your question, right? How long usually and how low can it go? Now, that's a good question. How low can the broad wave 4 go? Well, usually wave 4s, there's a tendency for them to test 50% of the broader wave 3. Now, if you look at this situation right here, I don't think that's 50%, but it's usually something like that, okay? Or 40%. So once that wave 4 comes, that broad wave 4, it can pull back. It could be a steep pullback, I mean, theoretically, and probably go back, to the 27K, possibly. I mean, again, I'm assuming, now let's assume we're at 50K at that point. Let's assume that we've made it to 50K and wave 5 completes up here. Let's just say, right? We don't know. We can go to 60K. The thing is, we don't know. It needs to do it first, and then we can start anticipating and making and formulating scenarios and conclusions, right? Let's just say 50K. Now, if wave 4 is going to begin, most likely it can pull back to the previous mini wave 4, which would be around here. Okay, so you're looking at 30K, 27K, something like that. That would make sense. And then it could stay inside that range for months, a long time. That's what you have to keep in mind. All right, so that's a good question. But again, so I'm just talking about theory here. But as you can see, I bring up gold because that's what gold has been doing. And gold has been in this consolidation since August. All right, so you count how long that is. Right, Bitcoin can easily do that. So hopefully that'll give you an idea. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Great question. Okay. All right, so that's Mario. Can you have a look at FIL, accumulation phase, one of the few coins not pumping? Okay, cool. Yep, see, Romana, I didn't even see your paragraph here. I actually remembered your question from the chat room. Okay, FIL. So yeah, I'm ahead of the chat here. Okay. Philo mining. Interesting. Are they a gold miner? So, I mean, look, fundamentals aside, I'm not analyzing fundamentals here. They don't really, especially for short term, they don't provide much value. Now, let's take a look at the levels. So this is the general trend here, right? We can argue is bullish right now, and the smaller time frame trend is range bound or neutral. So we have the higher low here, and we have the higher high, which argues, we can argue it's bullish, but it's been pulling back. Now, again, I don't know if this is a gold miner, but if gold is going to continue higher, I would imagine it would have a positive effect on this thing. But man, this thing it's not even up anything today, and gold is starting to make a move. Obviously, it's not a leader. Again, I'm assuming it's a gold miner. They might not mine gold. But in this situation, either way, you're in the middle of the range. And this is not really the best place to put on a position, especially for a swing trade. If you're thinking about investing, okay, fine. At least you're buying near a low. But the ideal spot would be here at $1.62. Okay, that would be a much more attractive reward risk and probability area for a short-term trade. But it's such an inexpensive stock. This one might be good, for inventory or basically accumulating some. So if that's the case, yeah, you know what? You're buying near lows, small bites, and if it goes lower, you just continue with the small bites. But it shouldn't go lower. If this is a gold miner and gold is doing its thing, this thing shouldn't be going lower. It should find support and start working its way higher. Obviously, when things get going, it can go somewhat, I see here. But that's what you're dealing with, right? And this thing since June has been in a range. So that's something to keep in mind as well. It's not really moving. So there's probably better opportunities out there, okay? Oh, wait, hold on. I just realized it's a coin. I just spent 3 hours on the wrong chart. Sorry about that. Okay. FIL, because you said one of the few coins not pumping here. I'm looking at a mining stock. All right, so here's the thing. If it's not pumping, right off the bat, I don't like this. I don't like this, right? That's bearish, lower high, okay, at, what is this? $26. And it's at a resistance, okay? It's at a resistance while Bitcoin is pushing highs. Relatively weak, no good. Not a good place to buy, all right? Now, maybe it'll break out. It's going to suck a lot of people in, but your best bet is to wait for a pullback on something like this. There are better charts out there. I'd rather buy, again, I was very impressed with like AVAX and there was a couple other ones in there that we took a look at that were much more impressive. What was the other one that we looked at? Cardano. They were much more impressive than this. So I'd rather wait for a pullback on one of those than buy something like this. All right, just because the structure is just no good. It's just not as compelling as the other ones. Now, if this thing changes its tune at some point, breaks out, pulls back, gives you a support, okay, fine. But right now, if you're not in it, I would stay away from it. No reason to put more money into this one. Okay, so I got your question, Ramana, about ADA. Okay, altcoin gem tracker, TVK, okay, and UTNP. All right, let's take a look. NFT, now I know these are coins. So let's see, NFT, USD. Why am I not getting it? NFT, what is that? NFT, is this wrapped in ether? Is that what this thing is? Uniswap? I guess it is. NFT project. I'm guessing this is what he's talking about, NFTX. Let me check the chat real quick so I don't talk about it for 5 hours. Hold on. Okay, no, so I don't know, but all right, it's a coin, so let's take a look. Right away, I like the structure. Nice Elliott wave structure too, right? This is a mini 2 right here. You have a 1, 2, you have a 3, okay? You have the 4 pullback. All right, this is very, very like concise and to the point. In wave 5, you're in wave 5 right now, right? You have the higher low in wave 4. Notice the bottom of wave 4 and the top of wave 1 have not touched. That's good. And now you're going for the breakout. So as far as something like this goes, this is a breakout type of situation. You're coming from a higher low, should make the higher high. It's trying to push a resistance while Bitcoin is. Those are all good signs. The thing is, if Bitcoin fails now, this thing is in a vulnerable spot. So, okay, you know, it's a breakout type of trade. You have to ask yourself, are you interested in the swing trade or the position trade, right? Swing trade, you're going to have a tighter stop. You know, you're going to have like a stop, what is this, around 6.5 cents, something like that. And you're going to have to hope that this thing can follow through. All right, we have no levels to go by here. So you're going to have to go by like whole numbers. What is that? So maybe up to that 10-cent area, you know, you may have some potential in there. I mean, I haven't done any projections, so I don't know. But you do have the structure favoring you. You just have to, your risk is going to be, you know, defined by this 6.5 cent area minor support. That's again as a swing trade. I don't like swing trading these cheap ones. You know, so if you were going to buy some inventory on it, you know, you want to buy some at the breakout. Again, be prepared for a failure. And if it doesn't fail, at least you still have some. But, you know, that's going to be up to you and what makes the most sense. Like if you're interested in swing trades or if you're interested in inventory, that's going to make a difference on how you handle the risk that you have to face on something like this. Okay? So I hope that answers your question. Let me see. And UTNP, both technically got at least 1,000% growth potential. Okay, so that's a fundamental. Let's see, UTNP. Why don't I get that? Let me see. UTNP. It's not showing up here on any of my. Is that the right symbol? Oh wait, hold on. I got the wrong symbols. TVK. That's not showing up either. Wait, hold on a second. TVK. No, it's not showing up there. TVK USD. I don't know. I'm not getting anything for TVK and UT. I'm not getting anything for that either. So maybe you can give me some more information on the symbols. Okay, Isaac. In from $12, trim some today. Okay, I forget which one you're talking about there, Isaac, but hey, whenever you're taking profits, never a bad thing. Reggie, AVX has a circulating supply of 72 million but the total supply that will be released over the course of time is 720 million. Absolutely red flag. From 72 million to 720 million. That thing, once those coins come into circulation, once they're in the, in the trading circulation, that supply price is going to have a hard time. Okay, it's going to make it very tough to move. So, good thing to keep an eye on. While it's got a low float, hey, you do what you can with it. But once that float starts to expand, throw it away. It's a gambling. It's a lottery ticket, and probably a lot of people don't realize. Maybe they don't realize what that means. A larger float, coming into the market little by little, right? And they don't realize that it's going to turn the coin to garbage. Okay, and someone's going to get stuck with that. Okay, cool, no problem, Kamal. Valian, hi. I was looking at EGLD. I saw a cup and handle. All right, let's see, EGLD. And let's see, mentions here cup and handle. That materialized today. The coin looks, oh, it's a coin. Seems to be decoupled. Okay, let's see, EGLD. Let's take a look at a coin. USDT. Let's take a, is this it? EGLD against Tether? Man. Okay, I see what you're talking about, the cup and handle. This thing's vertical. You can't, how much money? $179? It's up $40 today. Okay, so the materialized today. You must be looking at a small time frame. Let's take a look at a 30-minute chart. I guess that's what you're talking about. You must be talking about this. Do not look at small time frames. The reason why I say that, unless you're day trading, the reason why I say that is, you look at a small time frame and you're like, oh yeah, cup and handle, blah, blah, blah. But meanwhile, you're taking this is the risk you're taking. All right, because if this thing pulls back, it's enormous. I would not go near this thing. Again, unless you're day trading. I don't day trade these things. But that cup and handle is relevant only to day trades, not swing trades. So, yeah. So the first thing you should be looking at is support on something like this. Because here's the problem. If you don't recognize this risk and you get into a trade and you put a tight stop, yeah, you get stopped out, and then you try again, and you get stopped out again, and you try again, and then you get frustrated, and you be like, you know what, screw this thing, I'm just going to hold it. Meanwhile, you're buying it here, and it's got all this room to pull back. Now, it probably won't pull back. This is extreme, but something like this here is within reason. I haven't done any work on it, obviously, but $123 is pretty within reason. I mean, I wouldn't buy it up here, and that's where my potential support is. I wouldn't go near it. Not at these prices. So this is the herd mentality. I would wait for a pullback. Great one for the radar. Like, people have brought up some great coins here, for the radar. AVAX, right, I keep remembering that one. EGLD, definitely great for the radar. When they go vertical like this, that's our initial structure. Maybe they have a future. So I want to see when this thing can get to support, and that would be a good candidate for a swing trade at that point. So thank you for bringing that one up. What would be a good place to add to it? I see an inflection point at $55, but I'm not sure. Right, $55, that's way back here. Yeah, we don't know. I mean, theoretically, if this structure stays intact, it probably won't pull back that far, right? I mean, anything can happen, but I would anticipate that, like, for example, if we're going to maintain an Elliott wave structure, it probably shouldn't pull back that far. It'll probably find support much sooner. So I would wait for that support to develop first, and then start measuring risk. You can't really do anything at these levels. The risk is way too high for any swing trades, and even for investing. I mean, but in the situation where it's like, hey, I want to invest in it. Okay, fine. Small bite, right? So if it pulls back, you don't care. Small bite on something like this could be, $50 worth, $25 worth. If it pulls back 50 points, you're not going to care. And then you can buy more, right? But that's the investment perspective. It's much different than the swing trade perspective. If this project is a failure, or if it's all hype or whatever, the mistake you need to avoid is you keep buying more and more and more. What if this thing goes all the way back to $50? What if? You can't keep buying more and more and more in that situation. You'll run into problems. Okay, so just wanted to mention that. But thank you for bringing this one up. Another one for the radar. Man, we got a lot for the radar here. All right, Mario. Okay, I think I answered the question there on FIL, on the coin, right? I think I answered that after talking about the wrong one for like 3 hours, right? Yeah, I think we answered that. Okay, Luca, hey, LODE, cheap gold miner stock, seems strong. Got a small position. Okay, so inventory. Let's take a look. It's a stock. Oh, nice. Well, it's definitely one of these nutty movers when it wants to move. Comstock mining. So you have a position and you're looking to add more. Well, if you're playing the inventory game with this, I'll tell you what. You have a higher low right here. How am I doing with time? I know I'm talking a lot. Hold on, let me just check my time real quick. Okay, not bad. All right, so generally, look, this has been in a range. It's been a very long, drawn out consolidation for a long time. Broke out recently, and now you had to pull back. Beautiful. Now you had the higher low, and look, it's trying to make its next leg, and you have a gap. Look at this gap over here, which usually acts as support. So if you're looking to buy more, as long as you take that small bite, right? If you're playing the inventory game, this is not a bad price. What's it at right now? $2, just over $2. So you own some, you take another small bite here. It's going in the right direction. See, I wouldn't be so loose with this if it was a swing trade, but if it's a position trade, you have more leeway because again, you're not taking big positions with a tight stop and all that kind of stuff. You're taking your small bites, and this thing theoretically should be working its way higher, especially since gold should be working its way higher as well. If this thing fails and starts to, breaks back into this gap area, that would just be another opportunity to buy more since you're working with inventory, okay? If the thing goes to zero, I mean, at some point you have to decide to stop buying, right? And that's why you have a target allocation is a good thing to have in mind. So you say, okay, I only want to invest $1,000 into this. And once I'm fully invested with my $1,000, that's it. I no longer add to it. And once it starts going your way, you start averaging out, okay? So generally I like it. I think it's not a bad place to add more. All right. Okay, Ricky, what are the next inflection points for Ethereum? All right, good question. Ethereum. Let's take a look. So, I have never been a big fan of Ethereum. It's done very well, okay? But I've just never been a big fan. So let's take a look. Next inflection points. Do I have this? Let me see. Maybe I have it on one of my charts here. Let me take a look. I have to do some work on these charts. So let's go to, let me take a look at my, I have some levels on this one. Do I have any projections? No, I don't have any projections. So in this situation, well, I can tell you right off the bat, 1800 is going to be one, okay? Without having to do any projections, I could tell you 1800 is going to be one, and it's acting right now. You could see a little tail there. So someone else sees that as well. You do have the higher low in place. So in theory, it should push through, okay? But that would be one inflection point. If you're long Ethereum, that would be a good place to, again, take a small portion off, right? Or average out. Just like you averaged in, you average out. Give it to them while they're there buying it. So after that, I would be looking at 2000, okay? Because, and that's just whole number. That's just whole number. Those are whole number inflection points. Okay, I actually have to do a projection, and I can give you some more proportional numbers. But I'd be looking at those two right now. Okay, and it's interesting that Bitcoin's on those highs, and this thing is still a little hesitant. I just think that's a little interesting. But when it comes to Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Litecoin, I mean, look at Litecoin. Why isn't Litecoin pushing 180? Should be way through there, right? So they tend to, some of them, they lag in one moment, then they play catch up. You see that game mostly with like the major coins, right? So that's how I would go with that one. All right, I hope that answers your question. And for the next session that I do, I'll do some projections on these charts, and we can look at some inflection points. Okay. So let's see. Valiant, but on the log. Looking into it since October. Okay, so Valiant again. So we're talking about that EGLD, and you've been looking into it since October. Since October. Yeah. Well, I hope you bought some. Because wow, what a move, right? That thing in October was $8 or something, and now this thing's at 179. That's ridiculous. So hopefully you got some, but if you don't have any, yeah, wait for the pullback. Okay? And if you have some, I hope you sold, lock in some profit for sure. Lock something in. All right, let's see. I'm back to the chat here, except for, yeah, I don't see, right, so Kamal, like something like that, again, that's a lot, there's a lot of coins out here that are hyped, and again, they can get away with hyping them. So, and many will get lured in by the hype because they think they got the next Bitcoin. They think, they believe whatever the hype is. And anyone that's hyping, okay, or they're coming out, a big company, how can Tesla hype? I mean, it's a big company. They can do whatever they want. There's no oversight, okay? Anyone can come out. You have a big fund, Grayscale. Oh, we're going to buy, we're buying 10 billion Bitcoin. Right, they bought it 6 months ago. And now everyone jumps in, oh, I want to buy some too. And then what does Grayscale do? Oh, I'm going to sell it. But we're not going to tell anyone. Okay, so that's how it works. Now, let's take a look at LI. So LI is one of these electric vehicle. I'm a big fan of the electric vehicle sector because it's just when they go, man, they go. I like that. As far as right now, so you've had this consolidation, right? Nice. First of all, trend is bullish, right? That's the structure that's in play. Trend is bullish. Since the bullish trend, you've had this consolidation. Okay, fine, no problem. So far, so good. Now, inside of that consolidation, you've had a pullback into this support. Okay, support inside of a bullish consolidation or continuation pattern. That support is around $29, basically $30, $29.5, $30. So you have some support that you can work with. Okay, that's good. Support in a bullish trend. Now, let's take a look at the most recent price action. And inside there, what do we see? Well, I see a nice little pin bar right here, and it's a little double bottom situation, right? Double bottom. So the high of that pin bar is 30.51. I like this as a long. Definitely fits our long criteria. And the reward risk, I mean, what's your risk? So you figure you're going to put the stop around $29. Maybe you want to give it a little room, $28.50 or something like that. So you're going to risk about maybe $2.50, something like that. And what's the potential? Now a lot of people will make the mistake and they'll say, oh, the potential? Let me see. Yeah, this is the potential right here. That's the potential. Well, no, that's idealistic potential. That's not where you should be measuring it from. You should be measuring it from here because that's much more realistic. So $33, $33.50. So you're risking about 2.5 to minimum make 3.5. That's over 1-to-1. That makes sense. And if you want to be a little bit more aggressive with it, here $36, $36.50. So the reward risk makes sense. Even if it tests this high and fails, you have an opportunity to at least do better than what you're risking. Okay, so I like it. Definitely a long candidate there. So yeah, that's how I would work with that one. And it's electric vehicle, so obviously it's a little bit behind the rest of them. But with these things, they do their own thing, right? So I'll pick on a lot of altcoins and I'll say, oh, this altcoin sucks because it's relatively weak. And the reason why I pick on them like that is because they don't really do their own thing. That's the problem. They need Bitcoin. Electric vehicle stocks don't need anyone. They can do their own thing. Some news comes out, someone's buying LI Auto, blah, 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 whatever. Some random news, and next thing you know, it's up here. Right? They do their own thing. They're not highly correlated to the stock market. So I like that feature that they can, usually it's news that comes out of nowhere. And usually we position ourselves on the structure, right? And then you get this situation, right? I mean, why is Westwater Resources here? There's probably some news, but this stock is a garbage stock. But it's a electric vehicle, whatever. And this stock at one point was at $80, and this thing is now pushing, it's at $10.65 right now. At one point, it went from $80 to like $2. So, why is this here? I don't know why. There's probably some news driving it, but it doesn't matter. We were in from a good price because I saw the pop, and someone obviously knew something in advance. Someone knew. That's why you got this over here. Someone knew something, and here we are here. Right, and now we can unload, and you can see my profit targets, right? 1285 is my next one. We didn't get there just yet, but there's no reason to get out of this right now. We just let the market do its job, right? So that's an example of what an EV stock can do for whatever reason, right? Remember, markets are not logical. And then what usually happens in these situations is you have people on, like on Robinhood and all that stuff. They're only paying attention to the news, and that's all they react to. So they'll see this, WWR, it's a good stock, it's up whatever, it's up 18% today, and there's some good news. I'm going to buy it. Okay, great. Well, guess who's selling it to you? We are, right? Because we're in for much lower prices. We don't react to news and all that stuff. We try to get in before all that information comes out, all right? And charts can help you do that. That's what we use, charts. Anyway, all right, so that's it. I answered everyone's questions, and let me see. My time is not too bad today. Look, I'm just about on time. Okay, so let's wrap this up. I appreciate all your questions. We'll wrap this up with Bitcoin here. Let me just clean up my Bitcoin chart. So again, if you're new to the GreenBridge site or GreenBridge Investing, please check out our website at greenbridgeinvesting.com. There's more information on the links below. If you just click on the show more thing, everything is explained there with all that stuff, so I don't have to explain it. Also, if you like the video, please press the like button because it gives me some good feedback. And also make sure you register for the channel so that every time I do one of these streams, you get an email notification from YouTube. All right, everyone, so I want to thank you all for your great participation and your great questions. I love to see all that participation, and I try to answer as many questions as I can, the best that I can. So I appreciate all that. Come to our free chat room also. We answer questions in there when we can. So I see like some people leave some questions in there, and sometimes it takes a little time to get to them, but we have a lot on our plate. But we will answer them. Anyway, so I want to leave you with that. Okay, cool. Hey, no problem, Ricky. That's why I'm trying to make these, much more. I want to add more value for the viewers, and I think that's how to do it. Get a lot in there quickly, get to the point, and I don't have to spend 3 hours on some rant about Bitcoin. All right, so no problem, everyone. I hope you found it helpful, and I will see you next time. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thanks, Happy. 4 p.m. we're going to do Talking Markets. So it's here on the channel. You can check that out, 4 p.m. Eastern time. And usually it's Henry came back, so he called. By the way, real quick, what is that? SK Skills, SK. And hold on. SKLZ, remember this one? Skills. Hold on, I got to show this to you. Right, Skills Incorporated. This is a good example. Look at this. This was the trade of the week from the week before, okay? Let me just show this to you real quick before I wrap this up. I knew I forgot something. We called this on Wednesday, right? I sent this out to everyone on Wednesday. If you're on our email list, by the way, you should have gotten it. If you didn't get it, check your spam folder. I've been getting complaints about not getting the email, and it turns out it's going right to the spam folder. So check that spam folder if you're on our email list. Look at this. So buy stop 29.50. Some people couldn't get into it because there was a little gap, but the next day, some news came out, okay? 45.53 was the high. This thing went to all three targets in like 2 days. Now, news came out about the NFL partnering with Skills Incorporated, the NFL, the National Football League. We didn't know the news, but we got in a day before. Okay, we got in over here, and some people got into it because they didn't get the best price, but they got a decent reward risk, and it went to all three targets in 2 days. That's just another example of how news came out, but we got into it before the news came out. The news is the catalyst, but you can't get in on the catalyst. You have to be in when the catalyst arrives, and charts again can help you do that. Anyway, all right, that's it. I'm going to leave you with that. So thank you again all, and I will see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching.